Let's delve deep into the issues. We'll take you beneath the surface.
Greetings and salutations. My name is Obeah Higgins and it's another edition of Fan Central.
Talking to the people at the heart of the top sporting stories. Hear from your favorite sportsmen and women and the administrators who work tirelessly to make it all happen. It's live sports talk.
I've written an entire article.
Yeah.
Looking at all the major issues every Tuesday at 9 p.m. It's Fan Central.
Need to estimate your duty? Perform a track and trace? Search for a declaration?
Then download the Jamaica Customs mobile app today. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
12 p.m.
Thanks for joining us for CVM News at noon. It's Friday, September 26, 2025. I'm Amoy Harriet. Thanks for joining us. Up first this afternoon, the Jamaica Constabulary Force says 1,000 new body-worn cameras are scheduled to arrive in the coming weeks, part of what it calls a major step towards accountability and modern policing. The announcement follows public outrage over the fatal shooting of 22-year-old Jamar Farquharson in Clarendon, an incident that intensified calls for greater oversight of the police. In a statement Thursday, the force stressed that billions of dollars in public funds have already been invested to build out the technology and infrastructure to make widespread use of the devices possible. Now, police officials say the cameras are central to efforts to strengthen transparency, but they were also clear that the decision on how and when the devices are used rests solely with the JCF, not the Independent Commission of Investigations, INDECOM. Now, Assistant Commissioner of INDECOM, Hamish Campbell, has repeatedly stressed the importance of the use of body-worn cameras.
There are many hundreds of fatal shootings this year now. Each one of them, there's no body-worn cameras being worn. There's over 100 planned police operations so far this year, of which not a single camera was worn, and those are in planned operations. So this particular shooting has only reinforced the necessity, because here we have private CCTV providing another account, but body-worn cameras would support the police account and narrative, and we'd be able to then determine more independently the truth and the facts.
Now, Senior Defense Counsel has joined in commending the work of Paula Llewellyn as Director of Public Prosecutions to improve and modernize the office. Ms. Llewellyn demitted office last Friday after 17 years at the helm. Speaking on Lead Story on Thursday, King's Counsel Peter Champagny said the former DPP has left the office in a stronger position. He points to her emphasis on openness with the public, contrasting it with a time when such transparency was not the norm.
Ms. Llewellyn can be credited for a number of achievements. One such achievement would, of course, be the prosecutor's manual, which was established in 2016. And also, in relation to that manual, it outlines the role and mandate in very simple terms, the office of the DPP in terms of its functionality. And second of all, I think what is also of great importance is the fact that her tenure has been marked with a kind of openness in terms of the relationship between the public and what is generated in terms of rulings from that office. There is clear transparency, there is clear understanding, and I don't believe that in times past that was necessarily the situation. In fact, it may not have been so, because I don't think that social media was as it is now. I don't even think that it existed then.
Bellefield High School in Manchester celebrated the opening of its new academic block this week. Among the speakers were the principal, Belfield's Division Councillor Mario Mitchell, the board chairman and the regional director of educational services on behalf of the Minister of Education, who was invited but was not able to make it. The speakers repeatedly noted that this achievement was built not necessarily with the most government support, but with community effort and determination. The regional director acknowledged the views shared. As Jamaica prepares for the 2025 tourism season, Jamaica Vacations Limited JAMVAC is turning its attention to new and emerging markets. Executive Director of JAMVAC, Joy Roberts, says this is part of a strategy to strengthen Jamaica's tourism product. She notes that while the island continues to attract visitors from Latin America, there is a growing interest in expanding airlift and cruise arrivals from emerging destinations, adding that diversifying Jamaica's tourism markets will help drive arrivals and ensure long-term growth for the sector. It's a race against time to save Jamaica's tiniest fighters. The Preemie Foundation of Jamaica is calling on the public to lace up and ride out in support of a critical project, building a special care nursery at the Princess Margaret Hospital in St. Thomas. CVM's Raymond Morrison has more in this report.
It's a mission fueled by heartbreak and hope. Founder and chairwoman of the Preemie Foundation of Jamaica, Sarika Sterling, knows the struggle all too well, having given birth prematurely to triplets of whom only one survived. She says her experience ignited a fire to improve neonatal care in Jamaica, sparking the creation of the foundation in 2017.
Coming out of my experience as a preemie mom, I was looking at all the hospitals across Jamaica. One of the main mandates of the Preemie Foundation is to ensure that critical care can be given at every hospital on the island. As it stands, only 10 hospitals on the island has a nursery or a critical care institute facility to care for premature babies.
Now, the foundation is launching Pedal and Stroll, a first-of-its-kind 5K event combining cycling, running, and walking, with all proceeds going towards the construction of a much-needed special care nursery at the Princess Margaret Hospital.
The Preemie Foundation of Jamaica has an initiative where we're looking to build out a nursery at this hospital. Back in 2020, when we contacted the Princess Margaret Hospital to initiate some support for the organization, we found out that the hospital did not have a NICU or a nursery. And since then, it has been at the top of our list to lend our support to ensure that the people of St. Thomas get the medical support they need by way of outfitting a nursery. All funding will go towards the build-out of the Princess Margaret Hospital nursery. The aim is to have a level 2 nursery at this facility to ensure that our premature babies and our critically ill babies are getting the necessary care.
Dr. Shadil Griffiths Nelson underscores the critical need for the facility, pointing out that premature babies require specialized care to survive and thrive.
In St. Thomas, we need a nursery. So what we're using is a section of the pediatric ward to nurse our babies. So with having an actual nursery space, we'll be able to have things like incubators, monitors, warmers, bilirubin machines, isolation areas for infection, areas where mommies are able to at least stay over, to breastfeed, to offer that holistic care that they really require.
The National Healthcare Enhancement Fund has also joined forces with the Preemie Foundation to ensure the project's success.
This is a start. Their work is part of a bigger initiative, one that this foundation, the National Healthcare Enhancement Foundation, has accepted the challenge. It falls under a bigger initiative called Maternal and Early Life. And that initiative, we're looking to address the 10 hospitals within the public health system that have neonatal or NICU facilities. And we would like to bring all the resources, whether it's equipment, infrastructure improvement, and training, to make those facilities better.
For healthcare workers at the Princess Margaret Hospital, the new nursery would be a game changer, saving critical time and lives by eliminating the need to transfer patients to faraway facilities. The Pedal and Stroll event is set for Sunday, November 16, along Kingston's waterfront. Registration is now open, with individuals, teams, and corporate groups encouraged to sign up. With every step and pedal push, participants will be helping to give premature babies a fighting chance at life. Raymond Morrison, CVM News.
And it's time for a break, but stay with us. More when we return.
Every day starts with care. Care that's always close. Supermed family of pharmacies is where you go for everything you need. From your morning routine to life's biggest moments, Supermed family of pharmacies is always by your side. Whether it's prescriptions or household essentials, trust the care that's close to home. Super happy, super healthy, Supermed.
It was rough. Every time the rain fall, the whole place wet up. I have to put the kids' book in a bag until the place dry out. Ah boy, I couldn't afford a new roof. Then one day, Ross tell me about a grant I can get through the government. So I sent a letter to the ministry telling them wagwan. The officers came, them do them inspection where I was able to go to the hardware store, get the supply so my roof could have been fixed. I don't think I ever see my kids them smile so much yet. That means everything to me. The Ministry of Economic, Growth and Job Creation make my life better.
Welcome back to CVM News at noon. The constitutional challenge to Jamaica's century-old law criminalizing Obeah had its first hearing in the Supreme Court on Thursday. The build-up to the hearing has been met with fierce opposition, with the church protesting against any move to decriminalize the practice. Now we're joined by Bishop Reverend Dr. Alvin Bailey, who's the head of the Jamaica Evangelical Alliance and project director of the Jamaica Umbrella Group of Churches, and he's here to discuss the decision to legalize Obeah or decriminalize Obeah in Jamaica. Welcome, Dr. Bailey.
Thank you very much, and also welcome to your listeners.
So what's the church's position on Obeah? Why is the church so strongly opposed to the practice?
Well, the church is totally against Obeah. We have seen the evils thereof and the way it affects people. But then we believe in one God, the God and creator of the universe, and Jesus Christ, his Son, the Holy Spirit, and the corporate sacraments that go along with that. And Obeah is on the other side. It is satanic. It is giving credence and observation to other deities, evil spirits, and rituals that hurt people.
So against that backdrop, how harmful does the church collectively think Obeah can be to the country if decriminalized?
Well, it is very well known that many criminals, in fact, look to Obeah as a means of protection, and many persons use Obeah to hurt other persons. Well documented, it has a wide range of applications, from just simply frightening persons and giving them scares due to other forms of spirits, to the fact that it hurt persons, and persons have been attested that they have used and in fact have been affected by persons being hurt by Obeah. But then criminals use Obeah, so it's well documented even in the JCF that they would have scammers and persons who are carrying out their deviant acts would have looked to Obeah as a means of protection in order to feel safe in executing their different actions.
All right, let's stick up in right there, Dr. Bailey. We're going to pick up on this conversation on the other side of this break. Please stay with us.
Idea in 1995 to years of transforming Jamaican homes and businesses. Design Options has been your partner in style, comfort, and creativity. From fine upholstery to fabrics, curtains, cushions, wallpaper, and custom touches made just for you. Design Options Limited, celebrating style, service, and sophistication. Here's to the next 30 years.
Quiet on the set. Want you to read the teleprompter, all right?
Yes. Okay. Okay.
4, 3, 2.
Welcome to Deposit Insurance in a Minute. Deposit insurance is a system designed to protect depositors in the event that a bank or other deposit-taking institution fails.
It is a key part of a country's financial safety net, ensuring that if something goes wrong, depositors don't lose all their hard-earned money.
Big man thing, we never know say them thing exists.
JDIC is the government entity that protects depositors by insuring their deposits up to 1.2 million. So even if a bank fails, you won't lose everything.
A good something this one because me can't take no surprise with my money.
You can't say that again.
JDIC, protecting your deposits,
Securing your future.
JDIC, protecting deposits for you and me.
This Saturday, September 27, rivals collide at the Jerusalem Mini Stadium. CVM's coverage of Issa Schoolboy Football 2025 continues. Jamaica College face their biggest test of the opening round as they battle their newest foes, St. Andrew Technical, in the feature encounter at 4:30 p.m. Before that though, Holy Trinity and Hydel lock horns starting at 2 p.m. All four teams are in unfamiliar territory and that should make for a tasty doubleheader. JC versus Stats at 4:30 p.m. and Holy Trinity versus Hydel at 2 p.m. Rivals collide Saturday, September 27. See it happen on CVM, CVMTV.com and CVM TV News on YouTube.
Welcome back to CVM News at noon. We're talking about Obeah being decriminalized in Jamaica, and we're joined by Reverend Dr. Alvin Bailey, who's the head of the Jamaica Evangelical Alliance and project director of the Jamaica Umbrella Group of Churches. Now, Dr. Bailey, there's this anti-Obeah sentiment that argues that, you know, some cultural experts, they say that Obeah has roots in colonialism. Your reaction to this?
Well, once you talk about slavery and the fact that they were colonizers, there's going to be that kind of dialogue and argument, especially when on one side, Obeah was a part of the people who were being colonized. And it was a form, they used that in the form of resistance to slavery and of course the colonization. So it would definitely find its place in that kind of conversation.
So what if the court rules that the criminalization of Obeah is unconstitutional? What then for the church?
Well, the arguments will have to be on the table. The church will continue to resist the practice of Obeah because I think they were trying to prove that it is maybe a religion when it is really not. And as long as we can prove the fact that persons are hurt by it, it is used for actions that are not consistent with Christian practices and with healthy practices in our economy, then we are going to find that, you know, a decision has to be made. But we are not perturbed by it. We are opposing it and we will take our stand against it. But if the court rules, then we will continue to preach and to pray and persons to avoid the practice as best as they possibly can in the interest of their own safety.
So I have to ask, do you think there's space for some sort of sober dialogue between the church and, you know, people who practice Obeah?
No, there's no place for any dialogue. It is absolutely intolerance for the practice of any kind of idolatry or anything that opposes the name of Jesus Christ, the God, the Creator, and the Holy Spirit. And that's exactly where Obeah finds itself, in the kind of practices that are anti-Christian, anti-God. And certainly there's no place for any accommodation of the practice of Obeah.
So what then are you hoping, you know, will come out of this hearing?
No, we definitely want the ruling to be very clear. Obeah must definitely be criminalized and remain as it is, as a criminal action for persons who use it to hurt and to harm others, because it has the potential to do just that. And so we should not. It must be seen as any other form of deviant practice that will go against decency, against the safety of people, and of course is a criminal act.
So just for context and having that background information, are you able to say, you know, how Obeah developed during slavery and, you know, what African traditions influence its formation?
No, it comes primarily out of the Ashanti and Paramanti tribes during slavery. They would come this is their means of expression, religious expression, and so it stays with them. Of course, other tribes would have come to Jamaica, so other forms of these kinds of practice to their own deity would form a part of their expression. But as slavery abolished, persons find the use of it to be necessary to advance their own ends, because there is a spirit world, and so they use it towards their own ends. So it developed out of that and remain with us as a practice that, have its place in this kind of superstition and have its place in mild forms, because it ranges from just a matter of it instilling a form of a means of feeling safe, discovering information by means of divination and other deities, so to Christian practice. But albeit, Obeah in Jamaica is known and accepted widely as an act that is repulsive and it is primarily to hurt persons. And even the persons who would want to say that they use it as a means of protection, the protection is questionable, although it is well documented that they do. But the protection against what? Against police to carry out their deviant act, or in a way that doesn't lend itself to legality.